Hello, hello. Let me check in with the a little stub at the end of chapter 12, and then into chapter 13 of The Life and Adventures of Michael Armstrong, Fctry Boy by Francis Milton Trollope. Um, yes, that's the whole thing with reading on a ebook. And even if I flip forward like what is seems like a couple of pages, it's like, yeah, I had about a minute left of reading in that little tiny little chapter of not tiny little chapter, the tiny little bit left in chapter 12, where Mary Brotherton basically gives coins to one of the daughters, bids adieu to the now grieving family because the mother the mother is dead, is well, not dead, but no, this family, yeah, where the mother is dead, because this isn't Michael Armstrong's family. This just happened to be a random family in a slum, and is just like horribly shocked by the conditions and what these people have been through. One little girl with a mangled arm because one of the overseers basically beat her and badly broke her arm, and it's like hasn't been set and is horribly bruised, and it's probably going to stay that way, and she's just going to be kind of um, disabled that way for the rest of her probably short miserable life. And yeah, comes home, and it's just like, oh God, I'm living on the profits of that myself. Is this holy? It's like I'm damned. It's there. I was talking on my Monday Reads video about how this is like she's like the Buddha and discovered their suffering in the world. This is like you've discovered their suffering in the world, and you're living off of these children's mangled and dead bodies. It's like that's horrific, but that is kind of the state of this world. Which it's funny because that I'm also reading about Canadian history and learning how much my prosperity is based on the degradation and marginalization and abuse that are given Native people in Canada. And it's like, God, are all cultures basically based on the blood and bones of those who weren't strong enough to fight back, and you get to live ignorant if you choose, um, the from the benefits of this. And it's like, you know, it's yeah, it's one of these things of living in the world. And this isn't just a you know it's just yeah, it's yeah, I guess it's one of these just things to be trying to be mindful of and think about how you're going to conduct yourself uh going forward. And I'm at a loss, you know for stuff like that. Yeah, yeah. So we get that. We get Sir Matthew Dowling in the next chapters. Like basically, I need to get this kid out of there. He comes back from watching Mary Brotherton doing this and goes like, oh, she is gonna be super trouble. She's gonna be super trouble about Michael Armstrong. She saw him crying last night. Didn't realize that maybe, and possibly is kind of like that maybe she also saw him beating the kid um afterwards in retaliation, and decides it's like, okay, I need to get ahead of this, especially since Proctor comes in and talks about how all the kids there are like, you should feel they're all like, oh, poor Michael, you should feel sorry for him, he's got to suffer under the further attentions of Sir Matthew Dowling. So even his charity isn't buttering up his workers in a way that was who you thought was gonna make him work harder. um and he's really fixed upon this plan of like, I'm getting him apprenticed out to the Deep Valley Mill, which sounds like, if Sir Matthew Dowling's factory is crappy, the Deep Valley Mill is like, it's down in hell is where it is at, and who won't come out alive. And he comes up with a cunning plan because he calls for his daughter Martha, who's kind of made friends with Michael, and says like, well, I've said, like, I have to confess, I lost my temper with him. I did hit him. I'm afraid the boy will never never trust me again. And to be honest, I don't know if I can trust myself. I'm just so hasty and stuff like that. But I want to do good by him. So I'm gonna get him an apprenticeship, because like, you know, him just walking around here in the hall, it's not gonna help him at all. We need to educate him, so he can have a good life after this. Which, you know, if he was actually true, that would be actually a true thing. But it's like, I says like, so yeah, we're gonna apprentice him. And I'm gonna use, he's like so despicable. He's using his innocent daughter Martha to snow the family. She's going to use he is going to use his innocent daughter to put on such a good face of the apprenticeship, to get Mchl, to get his mother to agree to it. Though he has a quick question for Parsons. It's like, can she read? It's like, yeah, she can read, which, you know, is a terrible thing for a mill worker. They shouldn't know how to read. It makes it, yeah, I know that's crappy for mill workers. They should all be ignorant and kept down and stuff like that. But he goes like, oh, well, then I better not present papers with the name of Deep Valley Mill on it, because if she can read, its fame, its infamy may have reached her ears, at which point she won't send them. So he holds back on, you know, any apprenticeship papers for the moment. He's just going to get their consent. And that's how far we've gotten in this story of so evil, so evil, so you know, self-interested. And I don't know if it's like that far from the truth, really. Like, it's melodramatic, but I don't know if it's particularly that far from the truth, really, of what I've heard of the horrible, horrible conditions in these mills. Yeah. All right, I will leave it there. I should do a little bit of research on what the conditions were like in these mills, and probably find out that Francis Trollope was actually soft pedaling things. Yeah, that's quite possible. All right, more videos later.